The journey of man began a long time ago, but each day we retrace it. The sun is old, and so is the earth beneath it. Even the wind that cools us is ancient. Old, ancient elements. They are simple and basic, God's gifts. And really, they are all we ever need. Nature feeds the artist's soul. And the artist in turn elevates nature to a higher form, an art. He believes that nature is made for man, and so must man make use of it. Use, but never to abuse. Perhaps his sculptures speak of his fears, of how we are mortal compared to the beauty we forsake every day. The beauty that nevertheless surrounds us and will outlive us. But his sculptures will outlive him, will outlive us until generations. Hence, and for that, it is worth meeting the artist now, so we might pass on his story, his vision, and his art. Meet Joe. You have probably seen his works, but you never knew it was his hands that made them.
Maybe they wouldn't know that for a very quiet person who looked like he does not know anything, is very ordinary. That there's art that's actually coming out from his mind. Art does not happen. If you're a sculptor, it's not in the hands only. It's in the mind. And the mind has to connect with the heart. And the heart has to move the mind, no? To create possibilities. And then only then, when everything is in place, that the person will carve that which he has conceptualized. And that which he has conceptualized, I think, does not happen immediately. And that conceptualization continues until the finished product is done. And I'm sure the artist will not even be contented with what he has completed. That's why perfection happens one after the other.
A native of Naga, Joe had become his grandfather's apprentice at the age of 5, choosing work over play. He had been making sculptures for a living ever since.
Well, when I saw him, my first impression was, he's an artist. By the looks of Jojo, he's an artist. That's one. The second, he is avant-garde, medyo advanced. And another impression I have is, he's not the ordinary kind of an artist. Because I grew up also seeing paintings and all of this.
Jojo has so many ideas in his mind, and I can feel the ambition to create monumental pieces. And his art, for example, his gift for sculpture, he wants to be able to be put to good use, if possible, in many parts of the country. And I think I would say that Jojo is Philippine sculpture's best kept secret. Recently I attended an exhibition of works by Filipino sculptors, and many of them have not heard of Jojo, which is surprising. And so I say that he is Philippine sculpture's best kept secret, but not for long, because he continues to be commissioned by people who have discovered his gift for transforming concrete and cement into something very emotionally uplifting.
In high school, Joe already had his own team of apprentices and was accepting commissioned works from prominent groups and individuals.
Kasi nung ano pala ako, elementary pala ako, parati akong sumasama sa aking lola na pumupunta sa simbahan, nag-a-attend ng mga prosesyon. And then yung aking lolo is sculptor din ng mga religious items. Kaya talagang nandun ako sa lineage na yon. And ang nangyari lang, kaya ako nakarating dito kasi unang-una gustong-gusto ko yung kwento ng buhay ng isang Kristiyano. Kwentong buhay ni Kristo.
Joe's most famous sculptures are the ones in Tanay Rizal, such as the Habitable Virgin Mary in Sitio Agujo Street, Sampaloc, Tanay Rizal. Literally, he has lifted the Virgin's vestments and invited the people inside.
Matagal ko nang pinapangarap na, kumbaga, gusto kong baliktarin yung bagay na ang santo na naman ang pinapasukan ng tao. At isa rin siyang isang dekorasyon, kaya dumating na rito kaya naging functional sculpture na
The 71-foot image Virgin Mary Regina Rica has defied the rules of cantilever buildings. Joe's sculptures are a mix of architecture, engineering, and painting. Everything begins in his mind and ends with his hands. His helpers perform the routine work, like laying the frame and putting on the initial layers of cement. But it is Joe that finishes every sculpture by hand.
My first impression of Jojo is that he was a very unassuming fellow, that he was a committed craftsman, to his work. Because some sculptors are really just designers. Pero si Jojo is actually the one who is hands-on sculptor. He's very much involved, from design to execution, to all the technicalities of the monument. He is totally involved in every aspect of it. Yeah.
The Virgin Mary has survived several storms, and its survival is a testimony to Joe's enduring work. Joe's works are all over the world. He has sculptures even in the Vatican.
Well, as I got to know Jojo much better, I was always impressed by all the ideas that comes to his mind. More importantly, I was an admirer of how he can create pieces of sculpture that are very emotional, So far, he's been doing a lot of commission works that have to do with religious or liturgical themes. And he was the one who created the likeness or the sculpture of Pope John Paul, which was made of lahar. And this was chosen to be sent to the Vatican. So that is an incredible honor for a Filipino sculptor. And the use of unusual material is something that's truly impressive.
Like other artists, Jojo has his own unique work ethic. His colleagues share anecdotes of how they find Jojo when he is doing a sculpture.
Pinakain namin siya, supposed to be kami magbabayad, binayaran na pala niya. Yon. Tapos another, I don't know if it's an addict, but it's an experience. For example, when we were having the awards already, awards night na, we were going to give to our honorees yung miniature nitong aming monument. As it is being announced, tsaka lang lumalabas yung trophy or yung statuette. Parang everything is a work in progress. nag-unfold na yung history, tsaka palang natatapos yung statuette.
I think what's interesting with Jojo is I found out that when he does a sculpture, a commission, that he practically lives within the sculpture itself. Like in the work in Tanay or in the work done for the Daughters of Charity, there is a hammock where he can rest or sleep even. I think that's totally amazing and funny in a way, but it's very, very emotionally affecting. It shows his total commitment, both physically, intellectually, emotionally, to the creation.
No matter how talented and world-class Jojo is as a sculptor, he remains humble and down-to-earth. That is why his friends, colleagues, and clients adore him as a person.
Alam nyo, dito sa Regina Rica, may malaking mga pasok siya na ginawa. So most of the time, dyan siya sa loob ng pasok. So one day, may mga tao na nakita siya, akala nila pulubi. So binigyan siya 20 pesos, nagpasalamat din siya at tawa siya ng tawa. Also one time, nagwawalis-walis lang siya kasi nagki-clean up siya. So sinabihan siya ng isang mama doon na, "Uy dong, wag ka dyan kasi malapit na mag-blessing, malapit na darating ang obispo, alis ka dyan. Umalis din siya, akala nila, boy lang siya, pero siya pala ang sculptor. So he is such a humble person.
Joe works ceaselessly with his own hands almost every day. Jojo is also known for taking his work and talent seriously. He has his own share of world travels, which widened his perspective on his chosen art.
It is not a change of an impression, but I got to know him more because he said he had been to Europe, he had been to Paris. That was when I got a deeper insight into the kind of person Jojo was. He was not an ordinary artist. He is a literati, as far as I'm concerned. He is not just a painter or a sculptor. He dabbles in it, but in the true sense of the word, he knows art by experience and also by exposure, because he is immersed in it.
One thing that sets Jojo apart from other artists is that whatever project he has, he makes sure he is all there, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
Talagang batang-bata pa siya at the time, 24 years old. And I could really say that iba ang trabaho niya in the sense that he meditates before he does anything. Doon ko yan nakita, he would stay under the moonlight, under the stars, and he would just feel the whole environment. Ang dami na ni Jojo nagawa dito sa Regina Rica. And everything that he does, makikita mo ang spirituality sa lahat na ginagawa.
Sculpting is an art that involves accidents and taking risks. Jojo tells his own portion of near-death experiences.
Well, my suggestion to Jojo is, of course, has to do with the risks and dangers that are attendant to works of monumental scale. Creating massive sculptures can be very risky, because it's like constructing a building. So I understand that he's had several falls.
Marami na akong mga accident na malapit na sa kamatayan, kumbaga. Beses nababagsakan lang ako ng isang I-beam sa tabi ng katawan ko. Meron naman nahuhulog ako from the 3rd floor. Nalaslas lang yung aking muntik na sa pulso. Pero nagkabali-bali yung mga coco lumbar. Hindi ako nasaktan sa katawan, pero eto lang. At meron na naman, nag-develop ako ng isang cemetery dyan sa may Tagaytay. Bumagsak sa akin yung isang napakalaking sanga, at yung malapit na sa akin, bigla lang naputol yung sanga. Marami ng mga accident ang na bagang malapit na, at siguro marami pa akong dapat na gawin sa mundo. Kaya hindi pa pinapayagang mamatay. May mga car accident na rin na nangyari pero never harm ako parati.
To Jojo, my advice is be very safety conscious.
Jojo, as an artist, does not only create sculptures. In every carving, figure, and shape that he creates, there is spirituality, and it is felt greatly by those who witness his works.
Sa blessing ng cross, masasabi ko na sa lahat na cross na nakikita ko, ang cross ni Jojo dito sa altar na ito ay yung pinakamagandang cross. It is a cross that is almost like the last breath of Jesus. And you could really say that this cross speaks to us. When you just look up at the cross, may message talaga si Jesus para sa atin. At alam nyo, ang cross na ito is not condemnatory. When you go and look at Jesus, He has only one message for us. I love you. I love you very much, no matter what. Saka the message of a dying man who says, I do not condemn you. I want you to know I love you.
Being a human more than an artist, Jojo has bigger dreams for the art of sculpting. That it will serve not just small groups of people, but communities, cities all over the world.
Kasi nag-driver ako eh. Tinadrive ko yung from Mindanao to Manila. Sige, habang nagda-drive ako, nag-iisip ako ng mga bagay na ano yung pwede kong gawin. Nasa na ako bundok. Pag nakarating na ako sa syudad, yung mga malalaking building na, mga malaking... Sabi ko, what if gawin na lang kaya yung mga sculpture. Let's say mga 50-story na building pero in the form of sculpture siya. Kasi nakakapagod eh. Kung minsan papansin mo dyan mga building, mga tinatayo pa lang after 10 years gigibain. Kumbaga ang tama ngayon, bukas mali na eh. What if gawin na lang sculpture para hindi masyadong tiring ba? Parang merong energy. Kasi ako pag gumagawa ako, halos kalahati ng aking kaluluwa binibigay ko dun para maging kumpleto siya. Yun ang aking ultimate dream na siguro more than the height of liberty ang aking magawa at functional yun lahat at merong Filipino culture na touch yung aking gagawin.
Young artist Jose Jojo Barcena Jr. has produced another 30-foot image of Mary Regina Rosary stands on top of the 5-story Regina building at Scout Fernandez, Barangay Laging Handa in Quezon City. It is as huge as the one in EDSA Shrine, but what makes it more interesting is that it rotates at 360 degrees. The most salient aspect of Jojo's style is not his perfect imitative powers, but his uncanny ability to contradict rules of engineering and structural designs. Barcena also crafted the replica of Our Lady of Peñafrancia, the icon venerated by millions of devotees every year in Naga City. For Jojo, however, if your models are universal figures of holiness, like Our Lady of Lanaval, Pope John Paul II, and Cardinal Sin, it is the artist's duty to present a perfect copy, not only to preserve the memory of his subject, but also to invoke the messages they bring to the people. Recently, Jose Barcena is commissioned by Daughters of Charity of Saint Vincent de Paul to make a founder's monument, which consists of 15 sisters, 2 Vincentian priests, and 2 Vincentian brothers. The monument is shared by 4 ministries: pastoral, healthcare, education, and social services. Also included in the sculpture are the 3 apparitions of Mary.
Noong tayo'y mga sanggol, tayo ay magkamukha. Pagdaan ng panahon ay nagkaiba-iba, ngunit huwag sanang lilimutin ang ating pinagmulan. Tayo ay bunga ng mundo, anak nitong sanlibutan.
Tayo ay mga puno sa gubat, ang ugat at sangay magkaugnay, nakakapit sa lupa, tungong langit naman ang paglakbay. Tayo ay mga puno sa gubat, sa unos at siguay nagbabantay, nakakapit sa lupa, at sa langit sabay kumakaway.